where I started was in Michigan. As a young kid growing up, my dad had these buildings and I had to go work, you know, because he never wanted me to sit my butt down, you know, so we're building sheds and doing all kinds of things, and I'm scraping the stones, having to re-roof, you know, one of these flat roof buildings, you know. So I'm doing these rocks, you know, with a shovel, and I hurt my back. And then I say, geez, what am I going to do? So I went ahead, at 15 years of age, looked up in the yellow pages of chiropractor. Didn't know anything about it. Went to a chiropractor, had a great experience, you know. I go, wow, this is pretty neat. And of course the receptionist was kind of cute too, you know, so that helped. But during that time, the mistake that he made, he never educated my parents at all to understand what really chiropractic is about. Our focus is all about education. The only way you can really get healthy is to be educated to understand this whole complexity of what really true health is about. Because today in this world, these kids, and you probably have heard this before, this is the first generation that will not outlive their parents as far as age-wise. So this is a sicker generation than ever. You hear me talking about gluten, you know, being gluten-free, you know. Well, that's a start. That doesn't mean it's going to fix you, but it is a start. And the reason being is to understand the whole genetic engineering. It's a modification of the food. How are they getting that genetic engineering? How are they modifying it? Is with the transportation of a virus. Do you know that? They have to do it. You have to use a virus. And this virus is able to replicate over 24,000 times in a 24-hour period of time. So we noticed over the years, you know, the big thing that got me in this adventure is I've always been into health, always been into wellness and nutrition and that. But I had a cousin that ended up with multiple sclerosis at a young age. He had a young family, 2 kids, and beautiful wife. And as soon as he developed multiple sclerosis, after a period of time, she left him. Boom. He never went through remission as many multiple sclerosis patients will go through. He just ended up dying at a young age at about late 40s. So when I was doing my undergraduate studies in Michigan, and I went to one of the best pharmaceutical schools in the country, and all my roommates were pharmacists, going to become pharmacists. They said, Mike, you study your butt off. Why don't you become a pharmacist? I said, I really don't want to push pills for the rest of my life. You know, that was my big thing. So when I got into chiropractic, it was like, whoa, natural healing, this is kind of cool. It's all about getting the body to heal itself. It's not about, you know, enhancing the body with these chemicals. Okay, you got this chemical imbalance. Well, the reality is your body is the best pharmacy that exists. It's manufacturing every chemical that there is. But why is there a chemical deficiency going on? Well, there's a lot to do with, are you digesting? Are you absorbing? Are you manufacturing? And that's what's happening. Nobody is really having a great job of digesting and absorbing. So we see people that they're running the B12. You know, B12 is important for nerve function, right? And these people have numbness, tingling, they got burning in their feet. They got plantar fasciitis, which they think is just, you know, a foot problem, when no, it's an inflammatory process. The body's attacking itself. That's what's going on. So when you just go ahead and you look at the B12 levels, well, they might be high. Well, doctor says, well, you know, your B12 levels are great. No, they're not great. You know what's happening? You're not digesting, you're not absorbing. That's what's happening. See, so we got to look at, well, what's really causing the problem? So we do special testing, you know, and we see chronic patients. I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, I got a gal that's had vertigo, dizziness for a year. She's seen 12 medical specialists. She's been at the Balance Institute down in Ladera Ranch for a whole year, twice a week for a whole year, not getting well. I did some work with her yesterday. I do brain therapy. And it was kind of interesting because she was telling the people at the Balance Institute, well, what is this guy doing? So they looked me up, Googled me, and said, wow, he's doing this type of treatment. And, well, we never thought about doing that, you know? And they said, well, that's cool, because if you're going to get results here, now we're going to refer our difficult cases to him, to us, which is awesome. We love that, you know? So that's one individual that's in there. What did I find out? She's got a history of autoimmune diseases, all major inflammation. She's had 3 heart attacks at the age of, what, 48? Is she inflamed? Let me tell you something. You don't have a heart attack. You don't have a stroke. You don't have diabetes. You don't have these chronic illnesses unless you have underlying inflammation. That's the way it is. And it spreads like a wildfire because it attacks everything. So now you end up with all kind of chronic conditions. Got another gal, she was 10 years gluten-free. Thought she was doing everything well. Why'd she come in? She came to one of my seminars. Her dad had ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. Man, you go downhill fast. She didn't want to have it. I ran tests on her, food sensitivities. She was buying Costco supplements. Oh my gosh, if you're buying Costco supplements, please, don't even go that route. Because there's soy, there's corn, there's all these different things. She's got sensitivities to everything. Now why is that important? Because that's ramping up the inflammation. Her body's reacting to it. What is that doing? Boy, you know what the most sensitive organ in your body is?
Thyroid.
Huh? Brain. Brain. Everything attacks the brain. So everything that you look at from an inflammatory process is going to attack that brain. Dizziness, lightheadedness, it doesn't matter. Thyroid is another sensitive area because your thyroid's real critical to function properly, because what it does, it helps fight against cancers. Did you know that? Huh? Think about that. Mercurochrome. You remember mercurochrome growing up? That iodine? Iodine's a powerful antiseptic. But what happens, the chlorine in the water, the fluoride in the water, the bromide in the water, all this crap is displacing the iodine in the thyroid. Thyroid is now, boom, open up for attack. One gal comes to my office, she's 22 years of age, been gluten-free for a year. I see she's got a goiter. I said, you got a goiter, you got a thyroid problem. She goes, no, well, that's why I'm here, because doctors have said I don't have a thyroid problem. I said, you got a thyroid problem, girl. You don't have a goiter without having a thyroid problem. Sure enough, she started the program. We went ahead, 8 weeks later, I got more energy, I got clarity of thought back, I'm losing weight. Why? But you're gonna, because you're getting rid of the inflammation, you're reducing inflammation. So that's kind of what our practice has evolved to. I love this type of work. I study with a lot of PhDs, MDs, other chiropractors, naturopaths. It doesn't matter. I mean, I want to learn from the best in the world. So that's why I'm on the phone talking to these people at these different labs, because I want to know how to fix a person. I don't want to just patch people up, and I tell them, I'm not in here to just deal with your symptom, because you know what? It's easy to fix it's easy to help you with your symptom, but really you want to get to the cause of the problem and get your body doing well long-term wise. So I'll open up to questions. I don't know how much time I used. Yeah.
Do you use light force technology?
Light force. We use whatever it takes. Laser. We use infrared. We do different things for different individuals. Yeah.
What do you think about taking like a low dose Tylenol every day?
No, it's really tough on the liver. It recirculates within the liver. I know a lot about drugs because, you know, in 30 years, I've seen everybody on so many different drugs. Remember, a drug wouldn't be a drug without a side effect, and they'll tell you that, you know? So, yeah, low dose thyroid just keeps on recirculating. Nurses will tell you that's bad news. So you're creating a real toxic load eventually. I had a gal, yeah, she was in a car accident. So she started downing Tylenol, 4 Tylenol. So then she has a skin reaction, and she got swelling of her legs. And she tells me that. She goes, I don't know what's happening. I said, look, girl, you're having a reaction to Tylenol now. Go see your medical doctor. You know, I'm going to refer out to a medical doctor when it's necessary. Heck yeah. Go ahead.
What do you think of statins for reducing cholesterol from heart disease?
Don't like them because there was just a little research. People that, when you start lowering cholesterol, you're messing with your hormones, because cholesterol is necessary to manufacture hormones, enzymes, energy source, as well as brain function. So what they're finding out now, research-wise, understand the traditional medicine is about 10 years behind research. Okay, research has shown the higher the cholesterol, the longevity increases. Exactly the opposite of what you think. So you got to look at the ratios: cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL, LDL, VLDL. Then you got to look at other different enzymatic activities that are going on in the body to find out what's really happening. You know, so.
Can you help somebody get off those type of drugs like Prozac, ENA?
Well, it was really cool yesterday, yes, because the neat thing was yesterday a patient comes in and we sat down, because I do, you know, the nutritional consultations, you know, the patient, and she's been, you know, going through the whole program, and she hasn't really been on top of it as much as she needed to, so we sat down, we talked, and her doctor took her off thyroid medication. She had the total remover of her thyroid. Total remover of thyroid, right? took her off the thyroid medication because her numbers were she was going into a hyperthyroid state. Now understand that the thyroid replacement hormones like levothyroxine, like Synthroid, have all these binders and excipients in it that your body might be reacting to. So when we have this, where is your hormones manufactured? Anybody know?
Your thyroid.
Where is the hormones manufactured?
Thyroid?
In your gut. In your gut. So hormones are manufactured in your gut as well as brain chemistry, which is called your neurotransmitters. So what are you going to look at? You're going to look at the brain and let's just give you these SSRIs, you know, and this type of thing? Better fix things. So that's what we do. So that's the last thing I mess with, because bioidentical hormones that people are so hip on, that'll really screw you up big time. Go ahead.
So what's the diet to be on? No sugar, no gluten,
No dairy.
No dairy, no soy, no corn. Over 90% of the corn is genetically modified. Soy is genetically modified. There's a Weston A. Price. Pardon me? Well, similar to that. But again, you know, I mean, those are real critical. And that's why I don't eat, you know, a lot of the breads and things like that. I don't eat that. I just eat all protein pretty much and vegetables. But, you know, the cooking classes, we do cooking classes because it's hard to understand this. So you can actually cook good food and you could still get your cravings like that sweet tooth, right?
Yeah.
Dark chocolate, no grain type of fudge.
So cheeseburgers.